how to configure the Denodo monitor and then launch it for monitoring the virtual Dataport server. To begin with, let's go to the Denodo monitor home, which is under the Denodo Home Tools Monitor folder, where you will find a zip file. To use it, we will first need to unzip the file. Once unzipped, you can configure the Denodo monitor by changing the parameters of the configuration parameters file inside the comp folder of the Denodo monitor home. Let's look at various configurations available in the Denodo monitor. First up is the rollover strategy. Since the Denodo monitor is designed to be a lightweight background process to log the activities, it allows to set the rollover period to create a new file. The setting is governed by date pattern parameter as shown in the video. Monitor uses the Java simple date format, and various examples are provided as part of the configuration file. A similar option is available to choose the format in which the date fields of the logged information to be written. In case you need to monitor any server that is configured to use TLS, you can set the TrustStor details to be able to connect and monitor that server. Next is configuration related to the local monitors, where you can choose all the monitors or only one depending on your need. For our case, we are going to use both the local monitors, so both processes and sockets. Furthermore, the local monitors can be configured as a polling interval to collect the information from the operating system, controlled by the interval parameter for each of the monitors. Let's leave the default 30 seconds. Now let's look at the configurations related to the remote monitors. You can monitor more than one Denodo server, like VDP for Virtual Dataport Server, Scheduler for Scheduler Server, Scheduler Index for the Indexer, and the Browser Pool for IT Pilot. The Virtual Dataport monitors, like the queries, connections, are only applicable for VDP Server, and the rest only logs the threads and resources. Usually the default configuration of the Denodo monitor contains the default host, port, and admin user credentials. Hence, we can change the default username, password, or host in this properties file such that it points to the Virtual Dataport server which we want to monitor. For this demo, let's scroll down to the Connection Parameters section for the Virtual Dataport server for changing the connection-specific information. Here, you can change the values of all the properties JMX, JMX port, JMX user, and JMX password based on your Virtual Dataport server details. Each monitor will read these properties to know the URI and credentials of the server it has to monitor. Note that the JMX password parameter can also have the password in encrypted format. To have an encrypted password, you would have to set the value of the property JMX password encrypted to true. By default, this property is set as false. Most of the properties in this configuration file are self-explanatory, and there is also information about each property in the configuration file. Finally, save the configuration file and launch the Denodo monitor by executing the Denodo monitor startup.bat file under the bin folder. You will see various messages about the different logs being started. Now that we have launched the monitor, we can go to the Logs folder inside of the Denodo monitor folder and see the various logs that have been produced.